Another way of describing Africa this year is to say she was the belle of the ball because you had a lot of world powers moving in, trying to improve their ties with the continent, which is increasingly becoming a lot more important geopolitically. 2023 saw a lot of countries around the world trying to position themselves as Africa's reliable trade partner and/or security ally. The admission of the African Union as a permanent member of the G20, for example, was one of the standout moments for the continent this year. CGTN's Daniel Arap Moy reports.
Global powers have all been keen to entrench their footprints in Africa and play a part in its future growth. That at least has been the message echoed by many European powers. A long list of summits organized by global powers and aimed at influencing people across Africa were held in the past 2 years. According to experts, this so-called summit diplomacy has been a key tool for furthering geopolitical and economic interests.
The Western world, which has been really here for a period of time, has made sure that it deliberately gets a leadership structure that it can keep in that mentality of just forwarding resources the way they are. Now, what happens is that that is not going to change tomorrow. What Africa is now doing is to get, I think, better and smarter to say, well, enough of this has happened, but now we can give you our resources, but we want something back that is more tangible for us in return.
The highlight of the US-Africa Leaders Summit held in Washington in late 2022 was the announcement of a $55 billion investment in Africa. Since then, the United States has been trying to have more influence on the continent, with several senior US officials visiting Africa in 2023. The EU-AU summit held in Brussels in February 2023 was marked with the launch of a major investment plan for Africa as part of Europe's Global Gateway project. And the Russia-Africa summit held in St. Petersburg in July 2023 led to a declaration outlining some of Moscow's plans for Africa. The Africa Climate Summit that was hosted by Kenya in Nairobi in September also attracted a number of Western powers seeking to exert their influence in tackling the global climate crisis. According to analysts, Africa's growing integration makes it a bloc too big and influential to ignore.
So Africa matters. It matters directly and it matters indirectly to the world powers, to the stability of the global system. And it is, unfortunately, also a space of competition between contesting powers. And I think it is not a stretch of language to say that Africa is very much a theater of imperialist, neo-imperialist ambitions. And here, I am not excluding any one of the big powers.
For some European powers, particularly France, a series of diplomatic missteps in the Sahel are reported to have led to a decline in their influence. Analysts say summit diplomacy can give African leaders increased bargaining power as they seek more benefits from their existing diplomatic ties.
There seems to be a general consensus among analysts that African states must define their collective positions and needs in order to negotiate in the continent's best interests. Daniel Arap Moy, CGTN, Nairobi, Kenya.